Welcome to another News Game Plus. I'm Dermie and I'm here as usual with New Game Plus executive producer Jason and Callahan. Hey, we got a friend back. I forgot. I brought this over for you.
I I regret giving it to you all those years ago. Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know God made president.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I,
Well, no, that's the rhetoric, isn't it? The one thing have done is we've upped the volume a little bit. So what he's actually pressing is a pen we got from. I was given.
it's what? I just go.
I thought you didn't like China. But it's a pen with it's a giant Donald Trump head. We'll put it up on socials. And when we attach it to this podcast. It's a giant Donald Trump pen. It's like 45th president, blah, 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 this big pen. And it's like a big chunky pen because obviously Americans can't write properly. And it's like this big conical shaped pen. And it reminds me of like,
Oh, he's back on that one.
yeah, you only got three. You only get three.
Hey, you got a couple. Hey, stop it. Stop repeating yourself. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, no. No, so, and then if you press it one more time, it goes, hey, you can see my dick from here.
Yeah. There you go. I'm trying to hang on. Well, that includes you. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway, that's how we start the podcast about video games.
People, the reason I brought that back is yes, it's a pen you gave me that makes funny Donald Trump things.
Have you got any of the Duke Nukem heads left?
Yeah, I've got a heap of them. I'll bring them in for the next
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
I love them, even though you guys had a box for you want to get rid of. Anyway, I had to give you the pen back because it was a funny joke, and
Yeah.
I did enjoy playing with it. But since he won again, my wife is really wanting to murder that pen. So I bought
Every time she says something, Gerard, have you done it?
I've
I
been,
will build a great wall.
yeah, I've been hassling her with it because she's really worked
Go
up.
to go to hell, go to hell, kiss my butt. Yeah.
So yeah, so she's going to destroy. So I bought it here for its own safety.
Look,
I mean, it's so unsafe right
get
now.
her.
It might as well be a Kennedy pen.
If you
It's in serious danger.
if you get one and it's least sales, all you've got to do is if you point it at a photo of Bill Shorten, it just basically is like,
It's bad about it.
and then if it's a picture of Scott Morrison, it's like,
His sucky noises.
yeah. Anyway, fuck least sales. Anyway, that's the
That's a
politics.
good intro to
That's
the
the politics over. Yeah. Anyway.
I forgot I bought him. Yeah, no, yeah, it was a joke pen.
I do apologize to everyone. We did actually turn the volume up on. We've had feedback about it being just a bit too low. So
I was.
after I did the dog noises in the thing, I'm like, you guys are gonna think I'm. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm trolling you.
Anyway, what have you been playing?
Speaking of badly shoehorned politics, how good is Dragon Age of? It doesn't matter.
I told you it was bad. It was just bad writing. Didn't I tell you?
I've got it. So I've got it.
I'm
I've
not
got
a fan of it.
I've got an interesting example of the other way, right? So I've been playing Mafia 3. Did you play the Mafia games?
No,
All of them are
mobile games.
no.
Oh, okay, no,
No,
I'm
you're
thinking
thinking
something.
you're thinking yeah, I know the
The
Town
other
Mafia or
Mafia
whatever it
games.
is. Yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah.
And all of them are like uh, rough gems, right? So they're like
Hmm.
they tried to do something, whether they succeeded or not, I don't think they have. The third one is like set in late 60s America. You're like an African American orphan. It's done in like a documentary style, so they interview like the old priest who lived there. They interview like this old FBI guy. They you
Yeah.
get like old footage of from Senate hearings and things like that
Hmm.
about you going on. Think basically, yeah, something happens and your character goes off the rails, and so and it's lots. So it's some of the cutscenes are really well done. Like I will say that the one thing that is actually good, a lot of the interpersonal scenes with people, it does a lot of this quote unquote woke stuff,
Yeah.
but it does it really well. Like spoiler. Here you go. Here's your first spoiler.
Oh.
The daughter of the Irish mob, her and her dad just hate each other now. Like and Lincoln turns around her and goes, "What's like your old man's a bastard?" But like, and then she explains when she came. Basically, he realized that she was a lesbian, and his mood changed, and it's like the first time that a man ever broke my heart was when my father looked at me after realizing I was a lesbian, and I'm like, good writing, well delivered. This is how you do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a relatable story of that familial trust being broken. But the problem is, then you walk outside, and it's like this comical, over the top. Like it's trying to play a real serious game, and then suddenly it is literally just every epithet you can imagine for like black people in America. Then you start getting all the mixed slurs, so you start getting all the Irish slurs. Then you start getting all the Dago, Italian slurs and all this. And I get it. I get that it's 60s America, but it's just it becomes cartoonish at times. And I'm like, that was where Wolfenstein, as much as it was a game that was those same themes, set in an alternate history, it always had that kind of over the top. I mean, you're playing a guy who has his head reattached after having it chopped off. You know what I mean? Like you're playing in a metal suit that runs on diesel fuel. Like
What is this, Saints Row? Like,
no, no, no.
what the
So
hell?
I mean, Wolfenstein 2 is one of the best games of the last 10
Yeah.
years. Like
Okay.
it's in my top 10 for the last 10 years easy,
Okay.
right?
Cool. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, moral story is Mafia 3, even at its worst moments, is so much more well written than a lot of these other ones, and even at its most over the top kind of cartoony racism, it still attacks these themes better than anyone else. Like it's the futility of revenge. It's the like if you're in certain neighborhoods, one of the mechanics is if you're in the black neighborhood, there's way less cops. The cops don't give a shit. Like you can do whatever, doesn't matter. Cops just won't address you. If you're in a good white neighborhood though,
Yeah.
the cops are stricter. So it works as both a game mechanic and as a commentary on
Yeah.
race relations in the 60s in America. And so I'm like, it does, but for everything it does right, there's so many. They've set the brightness of the reticule is set to the same slider as the overall brightness.
Mm.
So you most of the time you can't even see your reticule when you pull it out, and they haven't patched it. This game's been out for 5 years.
Mm.
They haven't patched it. So to do headshots, I've gotten to the point now, and I've got some clips saved where I've just remembered where the middle of the screen is. But the one thing I'll give them is that the bullet impacts are more realistic. You hit him in the leg, he'll grab his leg and he'll go down. He's like, oh fuck, because that's what would happen. You just got shot in the leg,
Yeah.
right? You might get one or two good torso shots before they go down, but even then they'll start like hobbling
Mm.
and they'll start to. So it's like the violence is more, but also your health bar is non-existent. And that was always one thing with the Mafia games was 3 or 4 good shots and you're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's more realistic in that sense, but you can still just, stim pack up and all that kind of crap, which I don't like. But moral story is Mafia 3 is a better game than I think the publicity it got at the time gave it, but I
Yep.
guess they fixed a lot of the bugs, except for I don't know how you have the brightness of your reticule set to the same brightness of the slider turning it. You can't see the reticule. Like, some weapons you can see it, other weapons it just doesn't exist. You just can't see where you're shooting. You'd be better off finding the middle of your screen and putting like a white dot and using that.
But the storytelling is covers the because when they talk about woke video games, it's like when people talk about Star Trek and go,
Yeah.
Star Trek's always been woke, and yeah, but the writing used to be better.
Yes.
So and that's an example of where the writing was better than currently. Because look, I haven't played Veilguard, and I'm unlikely to because I'm just not a Dragon Age
Yeah,
fan.
I haven't never been.
I don't like BioWare games. They just
Yeah.
don't appeal to me.
Correct.
And that's nothing against them, but they're just not my cup of
Last
tea,
time I
right?
played that I enjoyed it was Jade Empire. So yeah.
Look,
I
tried to.
I like Mass Effect 1, but yeah.
I tried to like Mass Effect, and I like the story, and I
Yeah.
reckon Mass Effect. I think they're turning into a TV show. It could be a spectacular.
I mean, the Halo show was meant to be a Mass Effect.
Yeah,
Is that the rumor?
I've heard that fan theory that yeah, basically was, and that would explain why they didn't put sex into it.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. BioWare fans are really weird because they get really excited about players banging each other.
Well,
Like,
I mean, it's one of those things. I
calm
like
down, guys.
the other thing with Mafia.
Go to Pornhub if you want to see weird banging. Go to Pornhub. There's a category for everything you can think of.
Yeah, the one thing that
And
was
some
not,
you can't.
the one thing that was nice with this was like the first woman you meet, he's not just like banging her; he's just nice to her because she says like, obviously I'm dating someone, her name's Darlene, and he's like, she's like, well, what do you have to say about that? He's like, look, I don't have anyone in this life, I never have, you know what I mean? So if you found someone who, if I found someone who cared about me and loved me that much, I don't really care who it is, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, beautiful romance, like in the Craze.
but you know what I mean? But I'm like that to me
Yeah.
is a more real line than if it was suddenly a lecture on 2024.
Well, I suppose that's the point. Lecture, and I'd say generally, like as a dad, if you lecture, it doesn't work. But
Yeah.
if you instruct
Yeah.
and do an example,
Yeah.
it does. And
Well,
I think people have this weird idea that if you just tell, it'll work.
yes, and well, I mean, and
that's crept in over the last few years.
and that's the other thing. But like the dad himself is a pretty complex character because basically at the start his son dies because of something that happened with the main character, and it's him grieving that, but it's him still being the nasty.
This is a dad that didn't like his lesbian daughter.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I got to say, as somebody with an Irish dad who is deeply religious and with a lesbian sister,
yeah, right. And so maybe that's why it ticks those
I find that
boxes.
interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And I'm like, and it is that thing of like, and I think he's this nasty Northern Irish, like definitely Belfast bastard, but he has these vulnerable moments where he's remembering his son, and before that it was always he was calling Clayton all kinds of epithets from that era, and he said, I was wrong about you, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, people are only affected by something like moral wise when it impacts their lives kind of thing. And it's like, but even then he just says, well, if that's true, then you can say my name. He's like, aye. And from that point onwards, he never calls him another slur. He just calls him Lincoln. And it's like, yes, that is a small morality play. Yes, it is not exactly the right message, but you take it at that point. And he talks about how change is hard when you're at that age and all. But I think it's
see,
handled.
the writing's is better.
The writing's better,
Yeah.
and that's for all its faults, and sometimes it plays like dog shit, and there's no ridicule, and it's buggy, and I'm good at getting bugs in games, as you know.
Yeah.
And like I say, some of the interaction stuff can be a little bit just real ham-fisted. Um, it's still it's better.
But the story's got you for the writing.
Absolutely, even
Because that's what
yeah,
you're waxing about right now.
the story beats, the story beats are good. Like the priest, like so, something happens and then you call up and this goes back to your point about the CIA earlier. You call up Lincoln's mate in the CIA who comes in, Irishman, of course.
That was off camera with off stream.
Yeah.
About CIA.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Hello, Agent Johnson.
yeah. And he comes in, he starts helping out Lincoln, and I'm like, oh, the CIA helping black dudes. That's a new one. But yeah. So,
We were talking. If people wonder what that is about, we're talking about conspiracy theories and how basically some conspiracy theories are true, especially if they're about the CIA fucking with black people.
yeah. Yeah. They're the ones you could probably,
Those,
yeah.
those conspiracy theories are true. Anyway, that's where
But
that's
that
the background of
but
yeah.
that's and that goes back into that. And it's I mean again, you want to I've tended to Mafia 3 podcast. One of the things is like, despite everything, despite you being this segregated black dude in New Orleans, he's still pulling down communist propaganda posters, and like the line is, these goddamn commies trying to infiltrate, blah blah blah, blah. And it's like, it just shows you that
commies.
it shows you that misguided thing of like, well, hang on, like, maybe there's something to the idea that, anyway, moral story
Well,
is,
Americans all claim that everything bad about communism is normally things that
yeah.
capitalism. They just don't know whether.
Well, they keep taking photos after just before hurricanes. They're like, oh, imagine under, like, this is something you'd see under communism. Like, yes, but if something is literally happening to you now under capitalism, like,
also, also you've been setting up every communist place to fail.
yeah. Anyway,
yeah. So cool.
so that ends Bolshevik hour.
So,
But yeah,
so
Mafia 3 better than I thought.
good writing.
The other two games I'd already played, and I played through them again, and I'm like, these are both fine. They're both fine.
Which one?
Goodfellas, Godfather ripoffs, Mafia 1 and 2.
Oh, okay,
The
cool.
first one particularly, it's like Once Upon a Time in America. It's set in that era. It's like the 30s, like late 20s, early 30s. Then the next one is set in the 50s, just after World War II. Like, you've come back from Sicily, you learn about the mafia there, blah 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 blah. And then, so it's all those very Scorsese-esque experiences. This one was something a bit different, and I know it didn't get the reception that it deserved. And granted, it was way buggier before it was remastered. But yeah, I don't know. I'm after two games in a row that I just didn't enjoy that much. It's been nice to play something that I'm like, yeah, I'm up. This is really good.
Like Game Pass or
One was Alien Dark Descent. I ended up uninstalling it after we
no,
chatted
the
about
Mafia games.
I got them cheap on Xbox. That was like the 3-pack was $40 or something. I got it ages ago.
Yep.
And it was worth every penny. If you have to buy one, buy the third one. You don't really need to know the previous games, although there are cameos from the previous games in both of them. If you play the end of one is about 30% into number 2, and then the end of 2, 3 continues after 2 because the main character of 2 is in 3.
And unlike the Godfather, it sounds like the third one's actually good.
Yeah, I would look. I was surprised. It takes a lot of the mechanics from the Godfather game and stuff. The Godfather 2 game that was really good that EA made. That's an old, and Scarface game that was really good. Like, you get money for doing jobs and whatever, but you've got to put it into your safe at home. Otherwise, you lose it when you die. Otherwise, if you die when it's in your safe, you don't lose it. So.
Okay,
Anyway,
cool.
enough video game talk on our video game
Well, it's
podcast.
almost a retro. It's almost a retro intro. All right,
Yeah,
cool. We got almost 15 minutes.
yeah.
I don't play a Trump.
Anyway, I like.
Actually, if you talk too long, go press the Trump button.
Yeah, yeah. I like Mafia 3. That's all I'll say.
Hang on. That's enough food.
That's it. Yeah, yeah.
That's all right. Cool. Cool. I've been playing Gyrus and Cannibal on the C64.
Oh wow,
Well,
Cannibal.
actually, on my
Cannibal's still a good game.
yeah, I got it on my Evercade, and it is so good as a
Yeah.
pickup game. Jump, 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 jump. Ah, fuck.
Yeah.
That's
And that,
so
that,
much
that was
fun.
when that was like the start of the endless runners. You know what I mean? Like it was the
Yeah.
first time the endless runners were a thing. And
It's actually
yeah.
that sort of game's good because it's all generated on the fly, and I kind
Yeah.
of like that.
And then
So,
I mean, well, so that's when Proc Gen was new and it was exciting. And then games like Gungeon and Hades and even Atomic Crops use those mechanics to further a story. And that's one
Mm.
thing that the later games tended to bring in was it wasn't just randomly generated. Now, easiest way to get me to not play a game, roguelike, card builder, tactical game. If you say three of those, and I love tactical games, but
yeah, but if it's got card builders,
yeah, I'm
it's
like,
going to ask for money at some
yeah,
point.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
big
Not
problem with it.
always.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't play a Slay the Spire if that makes sense.
Also, I played Gyrus and got to Earth, and I've never actually done that. I love Gyrus, but I've
Yeah.
never actually put in the time to actually. And then it just repeated going back to Neptune. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So one now. So, let's do some gaming news. We've gone a long time talking about
We've talked
Mafia.
about games at least, so
Yep. Now what do we got? Oh, okay. So let's stick with retro or old games.
Yeah.
Because remember, Good Old Games has introduced a preservation program.
Yeah.
How does talking work? So,
Just
basically,
lip smacking into the mic. People love that.
it's
Start making tongue noises. Yeah,
it's ASMR podcast.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
basically,
You'll need the Trump pen. Just do like, and then Trump pen. That's a Laura Loomer experience. Anyway,
uh,
sorry, that was a good one. I thought it was.
I'll buy that pen. Anyway, you'll be buying a Lauren Boat
Basically,
pen.
it's basically a wet dry vac. Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's got a Lauren Southern pen, then send it. Anyway, who's that one off 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 cats? Anyway, so.
Oh, Rachel Riley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the Good Old Games preservation program, they fixed and maintain games. Okay, the games are fixed and maintained by Good Old Games. They're compatible with modern systems with controllers and proper high resolutions.
Very cool.
They've even fixed a lot of game breaking bugs they find in the games when they redo them. This is now Good Old Games, by the way. That's City
That's
Project Red.
Red. Yeah.
So they're going through basically finding old games. I don't know how they're going with the licensing because I'll go through some of the games that I think are on the list, and you'll be wondering how they got the licenses. But so they've gone and fixing them up. So games. Actually, we'll just quickly before you get the game. They say they're going to continue maintaining the games into the future, so you buy them off them. They're only a few dollars. And they're guaranteed to keep working. They've done about 100 games so far, and we're talking. These are the games. The original Diablo.
Mm.
Now imagine that on a nice big screen.
Yeah,
Now,
wow.
that'd be pretty sweet.
I mean, considering didn't Warcraft just announce like remade sprites of Warcraft 1 and 2?
Okay, Warcraft's one of the games. The Good Old Games are
There you
updating.
go. Yeah, yeah.
Now Warcraft, playing the old. This is before World of Warcraft, when Warcraft was like Command and
Warcraft 2 and
Conquer.
3 were great.
I loved Warcraft back in the day, but I like that sort of game. Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Oh yeah.
That would be fun on a big screen to be able to see more. Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3. I'm not a big fan of those. System Shock 2, Fallout New Vegas. So I'm tipping they.
New Vegas will make money.
better.
Holy crap!
It's only like a couple of dollars. So.
Where are you getting these licenses?
SimCity 2000. Now that's before. Remember they completely like
Was SimCity
they gave that whole
online
city builder
Yeah.
up and gave it to
City Skylines.
City. Yeah, they basically EA just killed their franchise. Wing Commander 3, Theme Park. I think I mentioned Theme Park, but that would be
That's
fun.
a lot of EA stuff. That is a lot of old EA crap. Yeah.
Warcraft. What's this one? Sensible World of Soccer.
Oh,
Now
okay.
that's going to make a few older people happy. The old
Well,
Swiss.
maybe the way they're doing it is like they're paying an ongoing licensing fee with no floor. Like there's no baseline on it. Like,
Whatever. Look, you buy the games, but they're only a few dollars each because they're all games. But the fact that normally you get a game like I like my Command and Conquer sort of games, right? But say Zero Hour, which is a great game, but you have to hack it to work on
other ones you have to run like
and the hacks are out there, and it's they work well, but
We'll go on to the Mafia point. But if I bought it on PC, there's already hacks to increase the brightness of the red
Yeah.
field.
Well, if it shows up on the Good Old Games preservation program, they just fix it because they're
Yeah.
fixing a few bugs. The other one, since I know Oz is listening, hi Oz, Morrowind is one of the other ones, and
Yeah, nice.
yeah, so yeah, look, it's a great idea. I reckon they got 100 games in it, but the fact that CD Projekt Red are basically fixing up old games is they're like it's like restoring an old car and then
It's
they make a
yeah.
bit off it. It's a great
It
idea.
reminds me a little bit of I don't know, probably not a Top Gear guy, but Richard Hammond owns a restoration workshop now. And now that the show's over, James May bought a pub, unsurprisingly. Clarkson bought a farm, unsurprisingly, and Richard Hammond bought a restoration thing. And it reminds me of that, where it's that thing of
Hmm.
like they've got that money, they're leveraging it into what they like that also happens to align up with the interests of the community. And like, for all my faults, I give CD Projekt Red around Cyberpunk and stuff like that. This is the kind of stuff that engenders goodwill. This
Yeah.
is how you get away with Cyberpunk being buggy, because you do other good shit, and everyone forgives you because you go, well, yeah, next time make a better game, but also you guys do good, so we don't instantly
Yeah.
jump. It's like when EA makes a buggy game, everyone just fucking jumps in on them because
Well,
it's
they
like,
fixed up EBA games.
yes,
But it also gives you a point of difference from Steam, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
like and like I'm not saying Steam's pretty good in its own ways, but this gives good old
yeah.
games. Now it is good old games. It was Epic never decided to have a point of difference to anyone except it had less functionality, no
Mm-hmm.
cart, and only Fortnite, right? Basically, no. But yeah, so
But people,
good on good old
people,
games.
people inherently dislike Tim Sweeney in my experience. Like
I once called him the Trump of video
my,
games.
my sample size is anecdotal, right?
I don't mind him,
Yeah.
but
No,
he
he
comes
just
out with some stuff.
well, it's more he's hyperbolic, which people can handle, but he's hypocritical, and that's what gets people. Is it's like it's fine for you to say X, Y, Z, but then you can't do the same thing and expect not like nicety from it. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If you turn around and say I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then you're upfront about it, it's different to oh, big bad apple being mean, and then it's like, but
He
damn, it
also
doesn't
he
work
also
like that.
he also indirectly just fucked with every one of the big publishers' brains
Yeah,
by having a success with Fortnite, and they're all desperate to be the next Fortnite.
yeah.
And I'll get to a story soon about someone who's losing a lot of money doing that.
Well, PS4 for the longest time, if Fortnite was an island on PS4, you could play against people, but if you were playing on Sony, you had to make an account on the Sony
Yeah,
platform, and you couldn't transfer your purchases across. So if you had it on Xbox, Nintendo, sorry, yeah, Xbox, Nintendo, PC,
phone.
phone,
Yeah,
mobile, didn't matter. You could transfer all your saves and all your unlock stuff all up, but you could never do it for PS4. They eventually put the wall
that
down.
was 100% Sony.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sony. But I mean, Sony have been getting back off the mat, and so
Yeah.
they're doing less stupid stuff. But that was stupid by them. So yeah, good old games preservation program. I can finally talk now.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things I've seen, because I'm not kidding. Some of these games, like when you talk the Diablo, SimCity 2000, Roller Coaster Tycoon
Yeah.
theme park. Warcraft, I'm actually keen to have a crack at them on a big monitor. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't played one yet, so I can't say whether
Get a Samsung 21 by
you
9.
know what? You know what? I'm going to do some over the weekend so I can talk about it in the next podcast because I mean that's like a theme park on a
Yeah.
big monitor. That's really I'm in. So that's good. What we got? Oh, Adam Jensen. I'm
Wow,
a bit of
okay.
an Adam
We
Jensen
are
fan.
we are talking retro.
We are. Oh, no, see, Elias. Oh, I can't say his real name, but it's Adam Jensen. Elias Two Fixes.
Yeah,
Adam
yeah.
Jensen. Yeah. Hang on one sec.
Alias Tefexis, I believe, is it's yeah.
He's at him to me, but he actually tweeted the other day, and I saw this pop up in my Twitter feed, so X feed, whatever people want to call it. I've had this is a quote. I've had major roles in extremely popular projects, Star Trek, Supernatural, etc. And I'll add their Expanse, Elias. You
Yes, he
actually
was
forgot
in the
about
Expanse.
Expanse
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there. That was a good role. They shouldn't have killed you off. Would have been really good to keep you up anyway. And then he goes on to say, at com
What did you say?
I can't write. At Comic Cons and conventions, you know what I still get asked to sign the most? Adam Jensen in Deus Ex.
Yeah,
And then he said, I feel like Embracer Group may have dropped the ball on this one.
yeah.
So he's had a little bit of a dig there. I don't know what the background is, but yeah, it's interesting that to everybody in the world, and you hear his voice. When I heard him in Expanse and he started
Good
talking,
to
I'm
know.
like,
Yeah.
Adam Jensen's there.
Yeah.
This is now officially the greatest show
Yeah.
ever made. I mean, it would have been really. The showrunners add that next time.
Well, he was in another game recently. And I heard him straight away, and I was like, "Was it Guardians of the Galaxy?" It was definitely something big like that. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh, good for him. Because yeah, I agree. Like, it's one of those iconic roles. You can't escape you can't escape the orbit of certain roles. You know what I mean? Like, it was when Richard Dean Anderson did Stargate, right? Everyone was like, "Oh, MacGyver," but
Yeah,
now it's probably a split between MacGyver and Stargate. Let's be real, right? These
yeah,
two roles
yeah.
he's
That,
probably
that'd
known
be
for.
fair. Yeah,
And so sometimes you can't
depends on your age, I think. Yeah, but yeah.
very much so. And so sometimes you can't escape that orbit quite as easily. But I
Mm.
mean, there's a couple of actors who've done that where they've got like the two or three big roles that they're known for, and then the small ones. And I think Adam
Yeah.
Jensen is right. Like, Elias is right. It's it was such a good role. It was left in the lurch too. Like, with the ending of two was
Yeah.
not
You had to find out who
satisfactory.
They didn't say who Janus was.
Yeah,
They look the whole Mankind Divided was probably one of the first games that started to be really, really good technically,
yeah,
but something was missing, and it's
yes,
got worse over time. Because I maintain that video gaming peaked between 2004 and 2014,
yeah,
and if you go through all everybody's list of like absolute best of
yeah.
games, you'll find they all came around
Yeah,
during that period,
and
that 10 years.
there are ones that, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2 was 2017, but like
Around that period,
yeah,
right? And because my theory is that at that point, the consoles, now the Xbox and PlayStation, got to a point, and PC as well, because you still had
yeah,
SLI in that back then. Got to a point where the devs could do what they wanted.
yeah,
Finally, absolutely what they wanted. They weren't restricted
yeah,
anymore. But you could argue they could go further, but they weren't restricted anymore by technology.
yes,
But the publishers hadn't worked out yet that they could use the internet
yeah,
to turn gaming into an online casino.
yeah.
So you had that little sweet spot, and all the greatest games
Yeah, I think
were
that's
around then,
yeah.
or most of the greatest games. You go through people's list, Last of Us and that,
You started seeing
Halo games.
the homogenization of games technology, except for maybe Nintendo. But the Xbox was basically a Jaguar Power PC. You had
And Atari Jaguar.
yeah, and even, I mean, that was Sony era of the cell, right? Then after the cell, basically they started to really homogenize, and that's when you're right. These when the internet took over, and
Well, yeah, publishers turned it into a giant online casino,
yeah,
and yeah, there's a sweet spot. Anyway, where was I going with that?
more Deus Ex, please.
More Deus Ex, and I've said often, and I'll say it again, especially with this guy coming back. Don't give him. He's still going. So the I believe that the market for a stealthy game where you expose government like corruption or power corruption, I believe that market is ripe for the picking. I think it's there.
You never played the OG game, did you?
The original, yeah, I did.
Did
Back the original Deus Ex,
Yeah.
I did. I gotta say that didn't grab me nearly as much.
So the original one was like, obviously people link it with Fallout New Vegas for a reason, but
Link it
a lot of it.
link it with COVID.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's also true. And it's that thing of, and you look at it and you go, yeah, it was very simple solutions, and then Mass Effect 3 basically ripped those three solutions word for word, right? So the endings of Deus Ex the original were work together with the hyper capitalist, I forget his name, to spread the virus, spread the cure to everyone, and then you go basically, well, we can manufacture the cure now. Why won't we do it? It's like, well, no, it doesn't work like that.
We're giving it to people for
Doesn't work
influence.
like that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then the second one was Tracer Tong wants to reset all technology, so basically throw us into a new a stone age to deliberately allow us to reset.
Mm.
And then the third one was JC Denton merges with the AI to govern the entire world, to basically take over running the entire world. So it can be a world that like a sentient computer can run and not have those biases that humans bring into this thing. And that's that kind of transhumanism conversation of like
Yep.
thing. And I'm like, how relevant is that in 2024 still? Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's so much there to work on that I believe the market would embrace.
yeah.
Embrace.
Well, are they doing a reboot of it? I hope it's not shit.
I'd love to see a reboot of the original Deus Ex. Look,
I even like the second one. People give the second one shit. I like the second one.
Snowblind.
No,
Was that it?
there was two in between.
Oh, there was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have not seen the other one. But when the terrorist in quotes gave the talk to him very early on the game, I think it was a Statue of Liberty about
Yeah,
the change in the work and number of people who used to work for themselves and now they work for corporations and
yeah,
that. I was hooked at that
yeah,
point. I was in. I was listening to that going, holy fuck! I haven't.
yeah.
This is gaming that is just it's speaking to me on a different level.
And elements of it was channeling that frustration from especially the tech industry around those kind of conversations, and yeah, it was baby's first philosophy lesson in a lot of it, but it gave you the framework to then experience those conversations and understand the pluses and minuses. Every ending wasn't just a that's
Hmm.
the right ending. That's what always gets me. Is that's what I don't like about especially Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Though Fallout 3 suffers from a bit less because the ending was just shit. Um,
Hmm.
is and you were kind of pushed down to one path, but it's like this is the good ending, and I'm like this
Yeah.
sucks. There's no like it shouldn't be a good ending. It's here's the end, and that was the thing with New Vegas. Depending on your actions in the game, you basically got like a long because of your actions in such and such, this happened and that
Yeah.
happened, and the Caesar's Legion ran over the rest of the thing, instituting order and thing into a chaotic, being at the cost of, human freedom and
Makes you feel like you're part of something bigger.
yes, absolutely. And again,
Yeah.
goes back to just how hard is it to write a game? And like I say, Chris Avalone, we miss you, son. If you ever want to come back, I hope the industry will embrace you because
Yeah, Chris Evelyn. We're gonna have to talk.
that was a long story.
Okay, okay.
Let's stay out of those
Look,
particular politics.
okay. Look. I just think that Deus Ex, and also Beyond Good and Evil, where
Yeah,
you were a photographer,
yeah,
a great. Yeah, I mean, you hit people with a stick. They had to put the action bits in. But if there was a game where you're a photographer, I reckon now, and they have dropped. The Embracer Group has dropped the ball. You make a stealthy game where you're exposing government corruption. I tell you, the blue market crowd will be all over it,
yeah,
right? Just make the enemy orange. I don't care. Like
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
make Deus Ex, and I just think it would be
Yeah,
embraced.
it's not that hard to do. I mean, I still when I talk about Biden and Trump and all that kind of stuff is did you ever read Transmetropolitan?
No.
It's a great comic series. If you ever bored, just chuck it on your tablet and read it. And a lot of that covers a lot of it. That's where I always talk about the Beast and the Smilers. You know what I mean? Like he gets rid of the Beast, which was an allegory for Nixon. And he says, if you think I'm bad, wait till the Smiler gets in, right? And so there's a scene in that I won't ruin it. It's just devastating,
Remember
but
the Omen movies during the 80s and
very
90s?
right and yeah,
Often they were about presidents.
yes. And so this is about they basically they impeach the Beast, they get rid of him, they get rid of the Tony Abbott, and the Malcolm Turnbull comes in. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, leave Melky. Scott
got him,
Morrison. Let's go to Scott Morrison.
got him.
I like Mel. I'm a Melky fan. I like
I know you
Melky.
are. That's
My
the mental illness anyway.
I know people are Liberal fans, and they tell me Malcolm Turnbull was so left he should be Labor leader, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, no brains. That's just no brains.
Anyway, let's go game. Anyway, Adam Jensen, he wants more. I want more. I just think that there's a market there for stealthy, exposed government corruption games. I just think if you release one now, or in the next
Yeah.
4 years, people will be all over it. All right, cool. Now, Nintendo, do you want to talk about those leaks?
I mean, they're old. They're 2 months old.
Okay. Well, see, Nintendo's
They
having
they started off the conjecture around Nintendo announcing it before the new year, and I've always said from day one, there's no way they announce it before February because there's no way they screw themselves out of a second Christmas, and then they'll announce it in February, March, and they'll release it in May, and it'll be
When's
ready
their
to go.
reporting period for Japanese companies?
End of March.
End of March.
That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. So, yeah, so they'll get to the end of that. They'll get a surge in game sales and stuff, especially if
Yeah,
they announce
everyone
it's
gets their
backwards compatible.
bonuses, shares go up, everyone's happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Anyway, so
But
there have
yeah,
been.
so they're
We'll
right.
just say there have been. We'll just say there's leaked images on the internet of what people
And they're
claim.
probably considered the most realistic leaks from both this is what we've been told from multiple sources, alongside this sounds realistic for what's available and what's possible with Nvidia's
Yeah,
technology at the moment.
The risk of getting sued, go check them on Reddit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Looks like a larger Switch. Looks like a larger screen.
Yeah.
Looks very
Was it
Switch-like.
205 mil by 115 mil by 14 mil? So
Which clearly
puts it to an 8-inch
you
screen.
don't know from anywhere, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, how big's the Steam Deck screen?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Anyway, look, it looks like a larger Switch. It's going to be more powerful. It's been like 8 years since the last one was made. Anybody that uses a Switch now, I think they'll be well and truly comfortable and at home with the new one. I don't think there's going to be any shocks. Not like when the Wii went to the Wii U.
Everything. So yeah, it's be a bit
Slightly smaller than the
yeah.
Steam Deck screen, and it's going to be the same kind of screen. I'd
Slightly
say
bigger. It says, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I had wrong way around. Anyway, cool. There's another one. Talking portables, Valve has said they will not be doing yearly Steam Deck models, so they're not Activision. So, they said the Steam Deck 2 will be, quote, a generational leap. Their big concern is they're worried about battery life. If they start packing the hardware in, the battery won't last that long, which is a
Yeah.
real concern for portable devices.
Well, have you played around much with the Steam Deck so far? Like that is the one thing you will notice if you
It's
play.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great if you're playing like, especially if you're playing indie games. Sometimes you get like 5-6 hours out of it, but then you put on like a Monster Hunter World or something with a little bit more taxing, and then you start hitting that 3-4 hours.
I haven't tried it, but actually, I noted when I loaded a bunch of games up before I let the boy at it. Cyberpunk 2077 was a recommended game, although that's going to get like half an hour battery.
With the OLED actually
It's
improved.
going to be like an Atari Lynx.
The OLED compared to the LED improved the battery by like 17% because of its fuel efficiency, its energy efficiency. So like,
So I'll get 36 minutes
okay.
battery then. Yeah.
Well, 34 and a bit, but yeah.
Okay, Rain Man.
Yeah, whatever.
You bothered me.
Whatever.
You're out on
It'd
6.
actually be just over 30. It'd just be just over 35, but whatever. Doesn't matter.
I'm sad, my maths.
Yeah. I don't do a program anyway. If it's 17%, right?
Honorary boy.
So if it's 17%, right, and
There's
and
10 types
it
of
works out
people in
really
this
well.
world.
Works out really well. So if you go, 30 plus 3 is 10%, and then if you go, okay, let's split the next 3 minutes into like intervals. It's
We're doing a math lesson now.
3.33. We are. So then it's 1 minute is 4. Oh my God, all right, whatever. Anyway, it's just over 35.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, I would though expect, I wouldn't know a shock if there are iterations of the Steam Deck that are cost reduced. So, because the other benefit of that is that Steam
Yeah.
gets to make
I wouldn't be
profit off
surprised
each
if
one.
they did a Switch 2 in a form factor similar to the existing one, but it had the upgraded chips or something. I would not die a shock.
Now, game. I'm going to
They
get
did it with the
Mum-
3DS. Remember? I don't know if you remember they had the 3DS and the 3DS XL.
Every company cost reduced the hardware over
Yeah.
Sony and Nintendo have been very good at it. I wouldn't die a shock if Valve start doing that, and just over time they cost reduce the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
You won't
35.1.
notice.
But anyway.
I'm gonna do the Trump thing again. All right, cool. Now I should just introduce me as Tom Cruise and you as Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, I'm the autistic one. Okay.
Well, numbers. All right, cool. Where's it? Okay, now some happy gaming news. Astrobot has sold 1.5 million copies so far, or more than. And then I saw
That means it's sold. Yeah, because it's kind of.
came out September 2024, and I
Comes
thought at first I thought it's 2023. It seems
No,
like
it's Astro's
wow.
Playground. There's Astrobot, and then there's Astro's Playground.
Well, Astrobot.
Astrobot's the one that came out with the console.
Yeah. Oh, what? No, Astrobot's recently
Is it?
sold 1.5 million copies.
1.5. I thought you said 100 million copies.
Oh no. Well, I can't talk. But
Yeah.
1.1.
I'm like, well, there's no way it sold 100 million copies in a year. Like it was.
1.5 million. 1.5 million copies. Anyway, so
Where's the "you are fake news"?
it's fake news. Oh,
Flippy Dermie, fake news.
He doesn't say that.
No.
He just talks about building walls and being
Yeah.
great. And he says he doesn't have a toupee.
Yeah, which is funny.
It should just say.
So you wonder
fake
if it's a
news.
satire pen, yeah.
Can you get me a pen that says that is fake? You are fake
Yeah.
news. So the Astrobot sold 1.5 million copies since September. That's massive. Now Sony has said, and it may or may not be related to this, but at an investor call recently, which it's actually serious, like when they say.
Well, they can't lie there.
Yeah, so Sony, otherwise it'd real problems.
Yeah.
Sony has said basically they're committed to releasing major single-player games every year from 2025 on.
Yeah, right.
So that's a big contrast to remember when EA said that people don't want single-player games, and so Sony's basically clearly saying, "Nah, people won't do." They bought 500,000 per month since Astrobot came out.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's funny, right?
they're-
Because Sony doubled down. Obviously, we know they've doubled down on games as a service. Then Jim Ryan gets the ass, and now they're realizing that Sony is known for the sad dad game and the ginger girl game, like Horizon.
Yeah.
But their sad dad games are good games. Like they're just good games. Like everyone shits on. Like Ghost of Tsushima was great.
Okay, so it's God of War, right? You're talking
God of War was one. I mean,
I know Oz made me play heaps on the streams. Every third week was God of War.
Yeah.
I'm not on board as much, but I understand
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, no. Well, if you want to talk sad dad, you've got Days Gone. We got Ghost of Tsushima, which is sad nephew. You've got Days Gone, which is Sad Husband.
That's the Days Gone. Is that the one with the motorbike?
Yes.
That looked
And
interesting.
I really enjoyed that game. If you've got a PS5, I would suggest
Yeah,
playing
it looked
Yeah.
interesting. The concept of it. You just got to
I
keep your
really,
motorbike going.
yeah, I really liked it. If everyone gave it ran like absolute dog shit when it came out, and that's why. Like,
But you just wait 6 months.
and I played it on a PS4 Pro the second time, and I was like, it's really good.
Yeah.
God of War is Sad Dad game, and then God of War Ragnarok definitely wasn't as good as the first one. You have Redhead Girl game Horizon, which I didn't like the first one, so I'm not going to play the second one.
Yeah, but also you're a boy.
No, it's not about. I mean, it's
That game. No, that game was very popular with
well,
women.
because it's their most popular non-M-rated franchise, and that's why it got a Lego game, right?
Okay.
Last of Us, Sad Dad game. Sad
Yeah.
Dad, sad.
I was a sad dad.
Sad,
Had to play it.
sad dad mini golf game, yeah. I murder extra dogs just for you. I could run for Republic. No, it's fine.
Don't start the pen.
They're eating the dogs.
Yeah, there needs to be a pen says that. Anyway.
Yeah. But basically,
I thought he was cooked when he said that.
yeah. Basically, that's where Sony's bread and butter is now, whether they like
Yeah.
it or not. You know what I mean? And yeah,
They're definitely embracing it, which is awesome news for gamers because look, I know a lot of gamers, and especially older gamers, don't feel like putting up with young people kicking their ass and being abusive, right?
Yeah.
The single player game, and it's also a big turnaround from what EA and that were trying to say.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to jump onto a story of the other side of the coin.
Ooh.
Multiverses has so far lost Warner Brothers $100 million.
I believe it. Yep. And I mean, it's their own fault.
Sucks
It's
shit.
their own fault. Yeah.
Combine that with the $200 million they lost off Suicide Squad, they're blowing through $300 million bucks.
Yeah. And they're using Stats Labs using it as justification to shut down the gaming side. That's 100% what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
but you know what they're doing there? They've lost $300 million.
Yeah.
Whereas they're trying desperately to make that game that makes billions,
Yeah.
right? They're trying desperately to make a Fortnite, and so it's basically they're using the gaming community as like test bed. We're hoping that we hook onto something that makes them billions of dollars because we can't resist putting our money in like
I mean,
we're
COD,
addicted.
COD got to where it was not because of the wonderful politics of COD 4, which calls out all of the futilities of war and stuff like that, but on the conspiracy story that came up afterwards on Black Ops 2 and 3, right? So it levered the military industrial complex and that the mystique of those eras to become kind of what it is now. And I believe in the CIA because they only do good for the United States. And
Those games are made with Pentagon help.
Oh, of course. So you have to get if you want.
So
if
all
you
Hollywood
want
movies.
detailed renders of the guns and you want detailed renders of the planes and stuff, you have to.
Yeah, and if you
And
make a movie that they get to approve the script, they'll give you access to aircraft carriers.
Absolutely. And they'll turn
I don't always do that. Anyway, but yeah, so but yeah, look, Warner Brothers is blowing hundreds of millions of dollars. They will blame the game makers. They'll blame the devs,
the Rocksteadies and
but
stuff.
they're just when they hit their $1 billion Fortnite style income game, they're going to turn around, probably still sack the developers that made it, and then sit back and then
Marvel Rivals comes out in a month, and that'll be an interesting one. So that's
no buzz, zero buzz. Nobody's talking about it.
I agree. Compared to even Deadlock's killing it, and Deadlock's still in.
Because remember when Multiverses first came out, everyone was playing Multiverses when it first came out.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, it was everywhere.
And then they got rid of it because
it wasn't monetized enough. Then they rewrote it to monetize it.
For what it's worth, it was the network code was Cactus. I was talking to a dev who worked tangentially on it, and he said that he goes, yeah, look, they did have a problem with the network code in the way that it was working with the servers and stuff like that. So they definitely needed to address it. But they could have just done one big patch at some point. You know what I mean? They could have made the money they're making, and then just addressed it.
They took it off. They took it off the market, brought it back. Whole heap of stuff changed.
Suddenly it was more expensive for skins. They slowed it down. There was no defensive option.
And now it is dead. And hey Warner Brothers, suck it. You deserve what you did there.
Imagine if they turned
around. But don't blame the devs. The devs did what you told them to. That's really the annoying part. And then one day they're going to make the big game and they're going to sit back and they're going to say, aren't we really clever executives and all that?
And enjoy our bonuses.
Yeah, let's all, our shares have gone up. Let's buy a couple more car collections or whatever they do. And the devs are still going to get sacked. But right now, Schadenfreude, is that the word?
Schadenfreude.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm enjoying that to see him lose.
You can't speak English. Why are you trying German?
Yeah, I can't even read my own writing. I wrote these myself.
Maybe it's in Japanese. Maybe
Biden pen. I don't need to bite
I
it.
get out,
Instead.
pull, and the kids would run their hands down the hair on my leg.
Yeah, that was
It's got
weird.
silky hair. I'm like, I
Yeah.
get what he was saying, but I'm like, no one wants to hear
Yeah,
this.
dude, you sound like a pedo.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah. No, no, like he's not, and the implication is not that. I get what he was
No,
saying.
you do like sniffing girls, but yeah, but
All right, all right.
on the scale
That
of
wasn't the Trump pen, by the way. That was
no, that was, but on the scale of what presidents do,
yeah,
it's pretty tame.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, what's the next one?
I had one more, No Man's Sky. Now,
Your favorite,
who's the guy that makes No Man's Sky again? I can't remember his name.
Sean Murray.
Sean Murray. I love
You
you, Sean
talk about him
Murray.
all the time, but you never remember his fucking name.
Have you got a pen that goes, Jared's the sleepiest?
yeah.
And so I'm sleepy Dermie.
You'll be able to play with all your friends on every planet that you see on the map. That's the Sean Murray pen.
Yeah, no, Sony kind of made him do that.
I know, we've had this
I love Sean Murray. I think
he's made good on it. I shut my
he
mouth
has,
now.
but and he's making even better because No Man's Sky has now introduced full cross-platform save support.
Oh,
All
wow.
platforms
Very
on,
cool.
so you can take your game from anything you're playing on and go somewhere else.
For all the crap we give Bobby Kotick, he called that 10 years ago. He was the first one to say, the best world for me is a world that's multi-platform. Call of Duty put their money where their mouth was, and I was playing with Proc and the guys on...
He believed that you should be able to go to any convention and go to any rape dungeon as if you've just as if you just came from a rape dungeon at another convention.
Yeah,
and that's important to Activision. That was very important.
You can bring over your saves. Anyway.
Yeah, so if you're a game journo and you shut your trap, you can save your game in one convention, you get another one as well.
Anyway, well, I mean, $80 billion, by the way, 80 billion, 80 billion. We could eliminate student debt for 80 billion. Just
Epstein probably made.
Let's not even go down that rabbit hole.
Where's my pen?
Yeah. Where's your Epstein pen? Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps sliding down. Stop it.
But yeah, no. No Man's Sky again. Like I say, they've made good. They don't owe their audience this anymore, and the fact that they keep doing it is good on them.
I know, I'm right. And the other thing is, and they've reintroduced the for the next 2 weeks. So get on it. They reintroduced the expedition where you can go and get yourself a Normandy. From Mass Effect to add to your fleet. Now the problem, I did this first time it came out, and I only found out with about 24 hours to go, and I absolutely pushed to get it done. I got it done. It's a lot of work. If you're going to do it, it's 2 weeks to go. Get on it now, because it takes ages. You got a lot of traveling, a lot of missions.
This is what Fortnite relies on, that FOMO, right? That fear of missing out.
I wanted that Normandy.
Yeah.
I'm not
even like Mass Effect.
No, I like the story. I like spaceships. I keep telling my wife, I want to live in a spaceship. She goes, you can't. You'll die. And I'm going, I'll be happy. So,
yeah, Elmo can take you to Mars.
Yeah, I would do that. Anyway, so the Normandy. But you can get the Normandy from Mass Effect. The only problem is you cannot pilot it. It comes in as one of your fleet, and you can use the things.
Yeah.
You can't go on and walk around. It hurt me when that happened, but I was still happy to look out the window and see a Normandy there.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm just a sucker for spaceships.
I like the way it does a lot of that kind of discovery and things like that. And you slowly learn the alien language, so you suddenly just slowly decipher things. Because every time you find a robot, it gives you a new letter or two. And I like the way they did that. It's very simple, but like I say, for all the crap I gave No Man's Sky when it came out, and he definitely molyneuxed.
Oh, it deserved it at the time.
Yeah, he definitely molyneuxed, but he's made good on it. It's the memes are unfair now. So
no, Sean, you're a champion. I couldn't love him enough. Anyway, anyone has played No Man's Sky is thinking, get onto it now to get your Normandy. It does look really, really sweet. It does take a long time to get. Don't be like me and just
rush it.
Rush it, because I just rushed through with guides and everything. It still took ages to do. But yeah, I didn't want to miss out because I figured it'd never happen ever again.
FOMO, bro, FOMO.
Yeah, we're almost 50 minutes, and I've run out of things.
That's good. I mean, that's good timing. 45, 50 minutes.
I had one thing. Just the Pokemon Co lawsuit is apparently about 3 different patents, basically related to the Pokeball mechanism.
Told ya.
And riding Pokemon.
Hate to say I told you so.
It's interesting to have a patent on riding Pokemon.
Well, that's a new one because I guess because I've had it from one of the original ones.
Well, in Red Dead Redemption, I rode a horse around.
Yeah.
If I could put that in a ball, Pokemon.
Just set it on fire and suddenly it's a Ponyta.
Yeah, I pulled its skin off at one point. So.
Jesus
Anyway,
Christ.
I jumped off a cliff. He didn't like it.
And then all the Dutch showed up and the meat didn't go to waste. So yeah.
It does.
Well, this is America in the 19th century. Lots of Dutch then. It was New Holland before it was anyway.
I don't know.
New Amsterdam before it was New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so but I do suspect the 3 patents they
It's
pulled
not
out.
it's not just math bullshit you don't care about.
I I do suspect though the 3 patents they got. It's a bit like when I've heard stories IBM used to take companies in as a shakedown, say you
Yeah.
owe us money for these patents, and people would bring out all their stuff and prove that they didn't infringe those patents, and the lawyers in IBM would go, no worries, we'll be back tomorrow with 100 more patents. So basically, Nintendo can probably do that, especially if one of the patents is riding on a Pokemon, because that seems
Yeah,
kind
there you
of
go.
generic.
Just I don't think I'm full of shit.
You fact checking
New
yourself.
York, New York City used to be New Amsterdam.
With live
Have you
fact.
not seen Gangs in New York?
No.
It's an alright movie. I mean,
Okay. Well,
Scorsese can be hit or
we
miss
are
for me.
doing live fact checks,
Yeah,
like it's some sort of debate.
yeah.
Uh,
That's when we need Glare. Jamie, pull that up. Like, yeah.
yeah, Jamie, pull that up. Oh, we're
Uh,
gonna have Jamie for podcast once we do that and listening to him complain.
he shares them. He shares them on Facebook. That's something.
He does write a lot of blogs, and I got to say, good work. The blogs, yeah,
He's a
worth
good
reading.
writer. I've always said that to him.
Yeah.
It's one of those funny things, right? And he's me getting waxing lyrical. There's 2 or 3 people on the show who can do the no script thing, the bullshit talk thing, right? You're all right, like until you start thinking about it. I'm Shirley Temple. I'm one
So
take
I got to
Charlie.
not think.
I woke up, so do my thing, cool, done. See you later. I'm back in my trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, if
yeah,
I did the TV stuff, podcast works better because I used to just
just
talk too long.
vibe. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But one of the
and
very
you'd be like, shut the fuck up.
two of the other people who can do the solo camera thing is obviously cringy.
Cringy stuff.
And the other one is Galia. But Galia's ability to either remember his script or stick to it and still be engaging when he talks. He's one of the very few who can do it without
I thought
scripting.
the prepared stuff, Matt was really good.
Yes.
It's
And
being
Donald
able
are the
to,
same.
and I was going to say Donald as well. And I got to say Donald's news segments.
But it was a
is
crime they never got the views they
they
deserved.
they deserved millions of views because Donald's news segments on our show were S tier. They
Yeah.
really were great. They were well made. Prospect did a lot of effort to do all the editing on them. Yeah, Donald deserved so much more for
Like I
that.
say, half our Facebook comments is still, wow, I can't believe this channel has so few views, and then it's Brazilian people complaining there's new No Game Plus mode, and I'm just like,
Nah,
just makes me never want to go to Brazil.
you know my conspiracy theory about what never
Yes,
took off,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I'll die on that.
Yeah, well,
I
I
reckon
I
there's a
mentioned it.
reason.
I mentioned on Reddit the other day when I talked about Scott Latham. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't trust green staffers, and I won't ever again. So,
Yeah, that we're at 51, so we should stop that.
I say, gamer is not a dirty word. Don't you believe what you've seen on your phone?
Yeah. If anyone meets me at anything, just ask me about the story about the
Yeah,
green
that was I did a classic meme for you. I did a Skyhooks meme. You're probably even too young for Skyhooks.
Oh no, I miss Skyhooks. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For some reason, Skyhooks just didn't. You know, when you just in
Yeah,
a different window.
I love Skyhooks. It's
Yeah.
probably my favorite Australian band. Besides Tism, I saw Tism on Saturday. They were phenomenal. I saw Bill Bailey yesterday.
I saw tears about 1990 at
Yeah.
the Lyric in Geelong.
Yeah,
that was
I
wild.
was 5 years old, by the way. But yeah, just to put that one out there. I remember the old Channel 7 logo. Anyway,
Remember the TV used to go blank
yeah,
at like 11 o'clock?
yeah. I remember when Jennifer Kite's first run before the
The hostess with the mostest.
and the pleasant. Well, yeah, mostest depends where it doesn't matter.
You're gonna do a Johnny Diesel reference.
That's the classic meme. Yep. Anyway, let's not. NewGamePlus.tv, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, New Game Plus TV. If it's too loud now, please let us know via email. But I think we've found a good level. My problem is I out-level Dermie, and we don't have a producer. It's me producing it as well
The
as...
producer's you.
Yeah, but
What are you
like,
talking about?
I'm not good at it. It's like when it's like, oh, did you film stuff away? I'm like, I did, but does that mean I have to edit it and sound check it and all that? I'm like, oh, I can't cringy do it. Like... that's welcome to the New Game Plus production process.
What is it? You need to keep cringy in a cage somewhere. God damn.
Not even touching that one. We'll leave it there. We'll see you next week as we come into Christmas. Start thinking about your game of the year. I know you're going to say some old shit just to be contrarian. But yeah,
It's going to be Sonic.
have you played the new one?
No, but it's going to be.
It's,
Hey, all the people that review Sonic games and give a shit scores never played it.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Did you play the Evangelion one where it was like the what was the one from last year where he was like running around robots? and killing-
Frontiers.
Frontiers. Yeah, yeah.
I didn't like the look of it. I didn't.
It
like
was
the style.
Sonic Evangelion. It was Sonic Breath of the Wild Evangelion.
It's
It was
basically
so
wrong
weird.
a lot.
Yeah.
No, I didn't like the graphics. I know Luke played it and he seemed to like it. But yeah, just also open world games like that. I play the retros because they're quick. I don't have
Yeah.
time to play a big open world game these days unless it
Yeah,
really
gotcha.
grabs me.
Yeah. On that note, let's go. We're running out of time. Thanks. We'll see you all next week.